Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible world building of the video game Stray. It's a story where one single, powerful image, the city itself, really holds the key to unlocking its entire meaning.
Okay, so let's jump right in with the core idea from the analysis we're looking at. And it's this. The city is the master image. It's a refuge, but it's also a prison. It's an archive, but it's also a machine. Basically, every single theme in Stray, and I mean every one, runs directly through the design of this city.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to journey through this city by theme. We'll start with its creation as a sealed shelter, and we'll work our way all the way to the pretty profound cost of finally reopening it. This way, we'll really get to see all the layers of meaning that are built right into its architecture.
All right, first up, let's really nail down the fundamental contradiction at the very heart of Walled City 99. This is a place that was built to preserve life, but slowly, over generations, it hardened into the form of life itself. You see, the city's whole story starts with an emergency. Enclosure was meant to serve life, but then, long after humanity just vanished, the structure itself remained. The maintenance kept going, and that roof stayed sealed. What you're left with is a survival system that completely outlived its original purpose.
And this, right here, this illustrates the core tension that you feel as a player. On one side, you've got the really cozy, improvised community of the slums, but on the other, you've got the sterile, oppressive surveillance of Midtown. They're just two different flavors of the exact same managed existence, all of it trapped under that same lid.
Now let's take a look at how the city's sealed-off nature literally compresses every part of life inside. It reduces everything, from raw instinct to social connection, into a much narrower, more contained version of itself.
So, the analysis we're drawing from points to four key ways that life gets, well, reduced in this city. Instinct gets all warped by the Zerks. Social lives become these strange echoes of forgotten human routines. Humanity itself is compressed into just a memory. And the horizon, the very idea of an outside, becomes nothing more than a myth.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, because the game's central pairing, the cat and B12, perfectly embodies this idea. The cat, well, it represents life in its purest form, right? Instinct, touch, movement. B12, on the other hand, represents symbolic continuity. We're talking language, data, and memory. One moves, the other remembers.
Okay, let's move on to the jail. This is where the game just strips away all the comfort to reveal the city's blunt, coercive truth. All those soft rituals you saw in the bars and shops, yeah, they completely disappear here.
What the slums kind of improvised around, and what Midtown dressed up in brighter colors, appears here in its raw, completely undisguised form.
This whole district turns enclosure into the visible principle of the space. Suddenly, movement only exists if you have permission, and access only exists through control.
And this is it. This is the raw logic of the entire city just laid bare. The jail isn't some exception to the rule. It's the underside of every single comfortable district. It's the hard edge of the lid itself.
So the crucial point is this contrast. You've got this small, living animal body moving with such grace through the most rigid, mechanical expression of the city's order. And that contrast just sharpens the entire game's theme beautifully.
The story's emotional scale changes, and I mean dramatically, when we finally discover the truth about our little flying companion. This is really the moment where the city's history turns inward.
I mean, up until this point, the drone is a helper, right? A translator, a guide, but its recovered memories reveal that it's something so much larger than that.
It turns out B12 is a damaged survival of humanity itself, and just like that, the abstract absence of humans suddenly gets a voice, a memory, and this profound sense of grief. The human collapse stops being this archaeological thing and becomes a personal, carried memory.
So their companionship becomes this mutual necessity. The cat reactivates human continuity just by moving through the world, and B12 gives that movement meaning. They absolutely need each other to reach a horizon that neither one could possibly reach alone.
But getting to the control room to open the city, well, it's not just a simple escape. The analysis points out there's a really clear logic paving the entire path upward, and that is the logic of sacrifice.
Think about it. The route to the outside has always depended on these key figures, who give something up so the ascent can continue. You've got Momo, Doc, Clementine. They all risk something major. But in the control room, that pattern culminates with B12 paying the final, ultimate price. And this is exactly why the climax has such thematic force. The cat doesn't just win a fight. The fundamental condition of the entire sealed world is altered. The city itself has to open, and a change that big requires a great and really painful cost.
And then, finally, after a journey through every single form of compression and enclosure, all that accumulated tension of the entire game is released in that final climb toward the surface.
The ending works through this really powerful sensory recovery. I mean, after so much time in cramped artificial interiors, the surface registers as a complete restoration. Distance becomes possible again. It's like a re-entry into a world that is finally scaled correctly for the creature moving through it.
But, the ending still preserves its sadness. The cat emerges alone, B12 remains below, and this is what gives that final sequence its emotional maturity. The regained horizon carries the memory of the enclosed world that was left beneath it.
And this is the last, really powerful idea from our source. The game doesn't need to explain this feeling of liberation. Paws meet the earth, light reaches fur. It just shows us the simplest available fact. A living creature, moving again, in a world that is finally large enough for its instincts.